So we've talked about if you're given a function, how you can find the zeros. But let's talk now about what if you are given the zeros, how can you write the function? So first of all, if I have 3 zeros, that should tell me something about my function. It should tell me that the function is going to be x cubed. So I can find that, write the function, by turning my zeros into factors. So if negative 6 is a 0, that means that x plus 6 is a factor. And if 3 is a 0, x minus 3 is a factor. And if 5 is a 0, x minus 5 is a factor. So we can write the polynomial that goes with this. I'm going to multiply these two together. So I get x squared plus 6x minus 3x minus 18. And I still have to multiply that times x minus 5. But I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. That would be x squared plus 3x minus 18. And I'll move the x to the 5 to the front because it's easier for me to factor that way. So I get x cubed plus 3x squared minus 18x minus 5x squared minus 15x plus 18 times 5 is 90. So my function would be x cubed minus 2x squared minus 33x plus 90. And I could check that on the graphing calculator if I put that function in. So there's going to be lots of good ways to check your answers here. If I put that function in, x cubed minus 2x squared minus 33x plus 90, it should cross at those 3 places. It should cross at negative 6, should cross over here at 3, and it should cross at 5. And if I check my table, I should see, the second graph, I should see at negative 6 a 0. I should see down here at 3 a 0, and I should see at 5 a 0. So you can definitely check yourself. Okay, hang with me on this video because there's 2 other examples and you need all of them. What if I said that I had zeros at 2 and 4 had a multiplicity of 2? If something has a multiplicity, that means it happens that many times. So really, this is telling me that my zeros are at 2, 4, and I have another one at 4. So this time, I would multiply the factors, x minus 2, x minus 4, and then another x minus 4. I'm not going to multiply that out, but I wanted you to see what the word multiplicity meant. Okay, we are going to do one more where we will actually multiply it out. So this one, I'm going to get a full sheet of paper because this is going to be kind of lengthy here. This one we're going to deal with imaginaries. So I've got zeros at 3, I, and 5i. Now we've talked about imaginary roots, and I've tried to emphasize multiple times how anytime you have an imaginary, it comes in a group of 2. So when we see an imaginary number like this, we know that this thing had to have happened twice. So the factor for this one is x minus 3. But you don't just get one imaginary. You're going to have a positive I and a negative I with each imaginary. So in this case, I'm going to have x subtract I and x plus I. For this one, I'm going to have 5i and negative 5i. So I will have x minus 5i and x plus 5i. Now, when I multiply these, I want to go in a certain order. You can multiply in whatever order you want to, but it's going to be a lot easier if you choose to put the ones that go together for imaginaries. Because watch what happens here. So I'm going to leave the x minus 3 by itself. x minus I and x plus I is going to go to x squared. This is going to be plus xi and minus xi, which cancels. And then negative I times positive I is negative I squared. This one's going to be x squared. This will be plus 5xi minus 5xi, so they will cancel, minus 25i squared. So then the I squared turns into negative 1, so this part just becomes x squared plus 1. This turns into negative 1, so this becomes x squared plus 25. So notice on the ones where we had imaginaries, our x's actually canceled out. So again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Up here I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So let's go ahead and multiply. Doesn't matter what order you multiply in, I'm going to do these two together first. So I get x to the third plus x minus 3x squared minus 3. And now I'm going to take that times x squared plus 25. So I'll get x to the fifth, and that's good. I should have x to the fifth because I had 5 zeros, plus 25x to the third, plus x to the third, plus 25x. I've got this all out of order, minus 3x to the fourth, minus 75x squared, minus 3x squared, minus 75. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in order as I go. This would be x to the fifth, minus 3x to the fourth, plus 26x cubed, minus 78x squared, plus 25x minus 75. So this is the function that would go with those 5 zeros.